Saudi Arabia, an oil-rich kingdom, is facing a monumental challenge: averting an economic collapse. With oil prices plummeting, global markets volatile, and the world moving toward renewable energy, the nation is at a crossroads. To counter this crisis, Saudi Arabia is embarking on a bold gamble. They are pushing forward with ambitious plans to diversify their economy, reduce dependence on oil, and attract foreign investment. But will this gamble pay off? Or is Saudi Arabia risking its present economic stability? Welcome to Beyond Ordinary Visions, where we uncover the remarkable stories behind innovation and inspiration. Subscribe to our channel for a journey through history's extraordinary tapestry, delving into the minds of visionaries who have shaped the world. Get ready to be inspired and amazed as we unveil the extraordinary. Click the button below. Now, let's start. The sad future of petroleum. As the world's reliance on oil continues to expand, the International Energy Agency projects a potential peak in oil demand, estimating it could occur in the 2030s, possibly as early as 2028. While oil remains an indispensable resource, fueling industries that produce everything from plastics to clothing and pharmaceuticals to fertilizers, there's a noticeable global shift away from oil dependence. Both the EU and Japan have committed to making all new car sales electric by 2035. Meanwhile, the United States and China, the world's leading economies, are pouring enormous investments into renewable energy initiatives. This shift is not only driven by environmental concerns, but also by the finite nature of oil reserves, prompting strategic considerations for countries to transition to alternative energy sources. It's increasingly evident that oil consumption will decline in the coming decades, indicating a significant transformation in our energy landscape. Saudi and its precious black gold. If you're familiar with Saudi Arabia, you probably know about its two holy cities, expansive deserts and towering skyscrapers. But beyond these landmarks, Saudi Arabia is synonymous with oil, massive quantities of it. Holding nearly a fifth of the world's proven oil reserves, Saudi Arabia's oil reserves are practically beyond comprehension. Unlike Venezuela, which holds the most oil reserves globally, Saudi oil is not only abundant, but also cheap to extract and readily accessible. The country boasts some of the world's largest oil fields, including the vast onshore field at Ghawar, the offshore Safaniya field, and the oil processing facility at Abqaiq, all of which contribute to Saudi Arabia's status as the second-largest oil producer globally. Ghawar alone stretches an impressive 280 kilometers in length, plunges 100 meters deep, and annually yields a volume of oil comparable to Kazakhstan's total output. Remarkably, this single field could sustain a production rate of nearly 4 million barrels per day until 2050 before depletion, underscoring its immense productivity and longevity. What sets Saudi oil apart is not just its abundance, but also its cost-effectiveness. It costs a mere $4 to extract a barrel of Saudi oil, a stark contrast to the approximately $40 per barrel cost of fracking for American shale oil. This cost advantage has propelled Saudi Arabia to become not only the world's second-largest oil producer, but also the largest exporter, thanks in part to its relatively small population. Despite its vast oil wealth, Saudi Arabia has deliberately curtailed its oil production as a member of the OPEC cartel. Throughout much of the 2020s, the country reduced its oil output to bolster prices. This strategy paid off handsomely in 2022 when global supply shocks, including the aftermath of the Ukraine war, led to record-high oil prices. Saudi Aramco, the state-owned oil giant, reported an astronomical $161 billion in profit, surpassing even the tech behemoth Apple, which failed to reach the $100 billion mark. In Saudi Arabia, oil is not just a major part of the economy, it's the cornerstone. Oil accounts for a staggering 40% of the country's real GDP, a whopping 70% of its exports and approximately 75% of its average government revenue. This heavy reliance on oil revenue has shaped Saudi Arabia's economic landscape, leading to a unique labor dynamic. About a third of its population comprises foreign contract workers, while over half of its working citizens are employed by the government. The Saudi economy operates on what is often referred to as oil rent, a term used to describe the profit made from selling oil above the cost of production. With the ability to produce a barrel of oil for around $4 and sell it for approximately $80, Saudi Arabia enjoys a substantial oil rent, which fuels its economy and supports its citizens. Despite global efforts to reduce reliance on oil, Saudi Arabia is doubling down on its oil and natural gas capacities. The country is undertaking large-scale projects to tap into, refine, and export previously untapped reserves. This approach may seem counterintuitive given the world's push for renewable energy, but for Saudi Arabia, it's a strategic move to secure its future. Interestingly, despite record-high oil prices in the early 2020s, Saudi Arabia is not splurging its newfound wealth. Instead, there's a conscious effort to save and invest these profits for the future. This conservative approach to spending is part of a larger strategy, a gamble, if you will, that Saudi Arabia is preparing to make. The Saudis are gearing up to invest their oil riches in a bid to secure their future relevance. With the world transitioning away from fossil fuels, Saudi Arabia knows that if it doesn't diversify its economy and investments, it risks fading into irrelevance along with its most prized commodity. This strategic shift is not without risks, but for Saudi Arabia, it's a gamble they're willing to take to ensure their continued significance on the global stage. The Saudi economic gambling plots. Mohammed bin Salman's plan to avert an oil bust in Saudi Arabia is encapsulated in Vision 2030, an ambitious and far-reaching blueprint for transforming nearly every aspect of Saudi society by the year 2030. This grand vision seeks to pivot Saudi Arabia away from its dependence on oil by cultivating a thriving non-oil economy, fostering technological innovation, and establishing world-class educational institutions. At the heart of Vision 2030 is a commitment to sustainability. Saudi Arabia is investing billions in solar, wind, and carbon capture projects to reduce its reliance on fossil fuels. Currently, only about 0.2% of the country's energy comes from renewables, but the goal is to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. To this end, Saudi Arabia is also investing in desalination plants and agricultural projects to ensure a sustainable future. The vision extends beyond economic diversification. Saudi Arabia aims to become a regional hub for finance and logistics, with cities like Riyadh and Jeddah at the forefront of financial technology developments. The country is also heavily investing in scientific research, including artificial intelligence, flying cars, and the Saudi Genome Project, signaling a commitment to cutting-edge innovation. Another key focus of Vision 2030 is infrastructure development. Saudi Arabia is constructing new housing across the country, particularly in the new green capital of Riyadh. This investment is part of a broader initiative to promote a Made in Saudi campaign with a significant emphasis on expanding the petrochemical industry. Additionally, Saudi Arabia is investing heavily in tourism. Recognizing the importance of attracting visitors, the country is investing in the infrastructure necessary to support a thriving tourism industry. This includes developing modern amenities and leveraging digital technology to enhance the tourist experience, ultimately aiming to position Saudi Arabia as a must-visit destination on the global stage. To draw 100 million annual tourists by 2030 and diversify its economy, Saudi Arabia is embarking on a transformative journey with ambitious projects that defy imagination. One such marvel is the Jeddah Tower, set to be the world's tallest building, promising a breathtaking skyline that pushes the limits of architectural achievement. In the heart of the desert, Neom, a futuristic city, will emerge, boasting a ski resort, a testament to human ingenuity and a bold defiance of nature's constraints. The Murabba, a 400-meter-tall cube, will house a sustainable mini-city, a testament to Saudi Arabia's commitment to environmental stewardship. Qiddiya, another groundbreaking project, aims to be a dopamine paradise, offering a plethora of activities from water parks to esports stadiums. This innovative complex is designed to cater to every taste and interest, ensuring that visitors are immersed in a world of endless excitement. One of the most ambitious projects is the development of a 170-kilometer-long linear city, a marvel of urban planning that seeks to redefine the concept of urban living. This linear city is envisioned to be a key driver of tourism, to attract 100 million visitors annually by 2030, contributing at least 10% to the country's GDP. While these developments may seem extravagant, they symbolize Saudi Arabia's optimism and determination to reduce its reliance on oil. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has acknowledged Saudi Arabia's oil addiction and views economic diversification as essential for the nation's security and prosperity. The Vision 2030 plan is not just about economic growth. It's a strategic move to safeguard the country's future by reducing its vulnerability to oil price fluctuations. The transformation envisioned by Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 comes at a staggering cost, trillions of dollars to be exact. This massive investment is expected to create over 500,000 government jobs, but the reliance on oil-subsidized government jobs, essentially assigned to Saudi citizens at birth, is a practice they aim to diminish. Instead, the focus is on fostering a robust and profitable private sector, a shift that entails increasing women's participation, opening up to foreign investment, and, traditionally, injecting billions of dollars into various industries. However, this approach has its challenges. The centralized nature of the investment, largely controlled by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, makes it difficult to assess the effectiveness of the investments. The abundance of money can make any industry appear profitable, but sustainability and true profitability remain uncertain. A prime example of this is Lucid, Saudi Arabia's first-ever car manufacturer producing luxury electric vehicles. While it represents a step towards diversification, it is 60% owned by the National Oil Fund, highlighting the ongoing dependence on oil revenue. About 80% of the country's non-oil growth in recent years has been fueled by government spending, which ultimately stems from oil revenue. To reduce this dependency, Saudi Arabia is exploring new revenue streams, including a tax on goods and services. However, without clear benchmarks to evaluate the success of these ventures, the effectiveness of these measures remains uncertain. The kingdom finds itself in a delicate balance, needing to invest in private businesses to create a healthy tax base, while also avoiding over-reliance on oil revenue. To address Saudi Arabia's economic challenges, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman requires more than just fiscal responsibility. He needs fiscal wizardry. This is where the Public Investment Fund, PIF, plays a crucial role. As one of the largest sovereign wealth funds globally, the PIF manages a diversified portfolio with investments ranging from Uber to Nintendo, totaling over $700 billion and nearing the trillion-dollar mark. The PIF serves as a key tool for the Crown Prince's vision to move Saudi Arabia away from its reliance on oil. Instead of the government directly spending oil revenues, which are susceptible to fluctuating prices and production quotas, a significant portion of the profits are channeled into the PIF. The fund then manages and grows these assets, enabling more responsible and sustainable spending. This strategy ensures a steady flow of funds for crucial sectors such as infrastructure, healthcare, and education, regardless of daily oil price fluctuations. By investing in these areas, Saudi Arabia can enhance its social services and build a more diversified and resilient economy. The Saudi royal family's investment portfolio is vast and diverse, with interests spanning domestic and international markets. They have stakes in major tech companies, video game companies, and electric vehicle manufacturers. Additionally, the PF has financed the development of new infrastructure, including airports and airlines, demonstrating its commitment to driving economic growth and diversification. One of the most notable sectors the PIF has ventured into is sports. With billions of dollars from Saudi oil revenues, the PIF has made significant investments in international sports, highlighting Saudi Arabia's ambitions to become a major player in the global sports industry. The Public Investment Fund, PIF, has made significant forays into the sports industry, acquiring Newcastle United and owning 4 clubs in the Saudi Pro League. They also acquired Live Golf, which later merged with the PGA, much to the chagrin of many golfers. Additionally, the PIF secured a landmark deal, signing Cristiano Ronaldo to a staggering $200 million a yearly contract to play for Al Nassr FC. These moves underscore Saudi Arabia's ambition to become a major player in the sports world. In addition to its ventures in football and golf, Saudi Arabia is set to host several major sporting events, including the 2027 Asian Cup, the 2034 World Cup, and the 2029 Asian Winter Games, a testament to the country's desire to showcase its capabilities on the global stage. The PIF's investments extend beyond football and golf. They have made substantial investments in international tennis, boxing, cricket, MMA, motorsports, and horse racing, signaling a comprehensive strategy to diversify their sports portfolio. The rationale behind these investments is multifaceted. Firstly, Saudi Arabia seeks to increase global visibility and attract international attention through sports. Secondly, there is a desire to delegate sports management to private businesses, as evidenced by their partnership with the PGA. Finally, in an interview with Fox News, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman expressed a pragmatic view, stating that if sports can contribute to a 1% increase in GDP, then he is willing to embrace the term sport washing and pursue further growth. Similarly, the PIF's investment in these ambitious giga-projects, such as the Line, is essential for their realization. These projects require substantial financing, and without the PIF's involvement, they would remain mere dreams. The Line alone is projected to cost up to $500 billion, highlighting the scale of investment required for these ambitious endeavors. The branding approach of the Saudi government. Saudi Arabia's massive construction projects, like the Murabba Cube, are part of a grand strategy to transform the country into a global tourist destination. The goal is to attract tens of millions of tourists, who are expected to spend tens of billions of dollars. This ambitious endeavor, one of the largest government-led construction splurges in history, is a bold attempt to reduce Saudi Arabia's reliance on oil revenue. But will these projects be enough to break free from oil dependence? Only time will tell. However, beyond the economic aspects, there's a deeper rationale behind these endeavors. One key aspect is branding. Just like companies, countries too rely on brand equity. Saudi Arabia, despite its wealth, lacks a positive global image. By investing in these projects, the country aims to rebrand itself as a hub of luxury and innovation, appealing to a global audience and attracting foreign investment. Consider Canada, a country with a strong brand image of safety, openness, and prosperity. Many people around the world express a desire to move there, even if they've never been. This is the power of branding. If Saudi Arabia can successfully establish itself as a beacon of luxury and progress, it could significantly enhance its global standing and economic prospects. In addition, Saudi Arabia's social contract, which has long been based on oil revenue providing for its citizens, is under strain. As the world shifts away from fossil fuels, Saudi Arabia must find new ways to sustain its economy and society. These ambitious construction projects, along with investments in sports and entertainment, are part of a broader strategy to redefine Saudi Arabia's identity and secure its future in a post-oil world. For decades, the social contract in Saudi Arabia has been intricately tied to oil revenue. Most Saudi citizens either directly received oil rents or benefited from the subsidies and social allowances funded by oil revenue. In return, the royal family maintained absolute control over politics, social norms, and much of the economy. However, with the government's explicit desire to distance itself from oil, the future of this social contract is uncertain. To forge a new social contract, the government is exploring alternative revenue sources. One approach is to generate revenue from massive sports enterprises or through the allure and prestige of new developments. This new contract aims to shift the focus from oil dependency to a more diversified economy. Saudi Arabia's young population, with 2/3 of citizens under 35, is a driving force behind this shift. The country's ambition to become a global sports, luxury, tourism, or video game hub caters to this youthful demographic, offering them the promise of world-class experiences within their borders. In tandem with economic diversification, the government is easing some of its more stringent social laws. Women can now drive, a right granted in 2018. Movie theaters have reopened, public music performances are permitted, and alcohol is available to non-Muslim diplomats. These changes signal a broader shift towards a more open and progressive society. Ultimately, the implicit contract that once traded obedience for oil money is evolving. It is now transitioning towards a new era where ski resorts, the World Coupe, and a spectrum of entertainment options define the exchange between the government and its people. Transitioning away from a rentier economy like Saudi Arabia's presents a unique set of challenges. The Ronas, or Saudi citizens who secure comfortable jobs in the public sector, pose a significant hurdle to economic diversification. While such roles may seem appealing, offering a lifestyle akin to that of the average Canadian, they contribute to an unsustainable economic model. This is evident in the fact that 95% of public sector workers are Saudi citizens, yet they represent only 17% of the private sector workforce. The rest comprises foreign contract workers, leading to a skewed gender demographic heavily tilted towards men. The push for a new Saudi Arabia goes beyond just rebranding. It's about redefining the workforce. The country aims to transition its citizens into highly skilled fields to drive economic development. However, this shift isn't straightforward. While East Asian countries use exports as a benchmark for successful industries, Saudi Arabia lacks a similar metric. The success of Saudi AI, Saudi EVs, and other industries remains uncertain, despite substantial government investment. In addition, the country's high government-to-private consumption ratio and reliance on oil revenue complicate matters. Taxing private citizens more heavily is challenging, given the current employment structure. Achieving a post-retire state by 2030 or later will require sacrifices from citizens and strategic planning to transition to a more sustainable economic model. Saudi Arabia is keen to avoid the fate of other Arab states that experienced uprisings in the early 2010s, leading to the ousting of several governments. To steer clear of such turmoil, the kingdom is striving to become a highly skilled, productive nation. If successful, this transformation could mark the country as one of the first to escape the resource curse. However, while opening up society and embarking on massive projects are impressive, economies are fundamentally driven by their people, not infrastructure alone. For Saudi Arabia's transformation to be truly effective, it must benefit its citizens. If the benefits fail to reach the populace, it could be a sign that the focus should have been on more traditional sectors. The success of this gamble remains to be seen. If the kingdom can effectively translate its ambitious plans into tangible benefits for its people, it may set a new standard for economic development in resource-rich nations. But do you think Saudi Arabia would achieve its desired results through this gamble to avert a total collapse? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.